What's up guys, I'm Bruce Wayne. I create content on the Happy Fox Productions YouTube channel. Just kidding, I'm Justin Melson. Here with another Q&A video for you guys. I apologize, it's been like a month since the last one. Been extremely busy. I know that's not an excuse, but I've just been busy working on various projects and my own projects and all that kind of stuff. So now that I finally have a day to myself, I decided, why not shoot another Q&A video? So here I am. So here are some questions that you guys answered. Some questions that you guys gave me, and I'm gonna go ahead and answer them. So today with the CJB asks, do you know how to get realistic lighting for compositing 3D models? Do you need to take multiple pictures to make a cube for reflections? Okay, so that's a really good question. I hope I can answer this in a way that would make sense. I have a little bit of experience in 3D, but not that much, so I don't know if this will be able to help you out. I'm gonna try my best. And anyone else who's not into 3D, hopefully this makes some sense to you guys. But depending on whatever your software is, whether it's 3ds Max, Maya, Blender, Cinema 4D, any of those, Blender's free by the way if you guys want to try this out. All this should translate to all those programs. But let's say if I want to have a cube in a parking garage, for example, and I want it to look like I actually filmed it in the parking garage with my camera, then what I would do is I'd obviously set up my scene in 3D space. So I'd have a ground plane, have a box, set up my cube, all that kind of stuff. And let's say the parking garage, let's say it's the upper level of the parking garage. So there's no different fluorescent lighting hitting it because that's a little bit more detailed work. Let's say we just have a sun hitting the cube. So what I would do is I'd create a V-Ray sun or mental ray if you don't have V-Ray, but I'm just gonna go with V-Ray. I'd create a V-Ray sun, do the shadow, have a sky map, all that kind of stuff to get realistic lighting onto the cube first. So you put on global illumination, all that kind of stuff. So you have realistic lighting on the cube. Once you have the cube lit realistically and you have your shadows pointing the same way, the light is going the same way, then what I would do is you would texture it. You would want to have it 100% reflective. So technically what is being bounced off a cube will be refracting in the real world, if that makes sense. So anything that's in the real world will be bouncing off the cube, and since it's 100% reflective, it should technically match. And what you would do on set is that you would take a 3D panorama image of that, stitch that into 3ds Max using your environment map, Post that as your environment map as a texture, put that in your scene, and you should technically, theoretically, have a 3D panorama as your environment, which you can then render out with an alpha channel into After Effects and composite it into your shot with real world reflections in your scene. And then you'd have to render it as OpenEXR 32-bit float with an alpha channel, all that kind of stuff. I'm sure none of this is making too much sense to anyone else, but maybe watch a few tutorials. But that's my advice for you, if that makes any sense. So Kendris15 asks, can you show an easy way to light a shot? Well, I can't show you at this very moment because I don't even have any professional lights. If I can give you guys an example of how I would light a shot. Right now I am standing on a marker in my room, so everything's in focus, and I have a tungsten balanced practical lamp on my side right here, which as you guys can see is giving me a good key light. And then I have another tungsten balanced, you can call it a fill light, it's not really being a fill, it's sort of just filling in the rest right here, so it's not so harsh, but it's not really a fill light. And I have a tungsten balanced light facing directly at me right here, so you might be able to see the light in my eyes, I can't really tell. And then I have nothing over here, so there's no fill, no anything, no backlight. But so I'm doing technically, I guess you could say a 2-light setup, which I don't even think that's a real term. Typically, you'd want to have a 3-light setup. You'd want to have your key light, your fill light, your backlight. There's always eye lights, all those kind of lights. There's an infinite amount of ways to light a scene. You could even go as far as having 1 light if you're going for that noir look. Thing is, cinematographers who've been doing this for 30 years, they're still constantly figuring out ways to relight certain things, whether you're using HMI lights or different Kino flow lights or anything. There's an infinite amount of ways to light your scene. So maybe one day I'll do a video on that, but I myself don't even have a lot of lighting experience. If you go back and watch all my videos, 95% of my videos are filmed with natural lighting, and then I do some relights in post-production, and I relight someone's face. There's only maybe 4 to 5 shots in my videos that have actual 3-point lighting, like in Sharp Fires and a little bit in Hangman. That has some artificial lighting in it, but aside from that, all my films are natural lighting, hence why they're mostly filmed outdoors. But maybe one day I'll do a full video on that, who knows. Stick around, subscribe, it'll be good for you. The other YouTuber asks, how do you find time outside of school to film? And that's a really good question. Honestly, well, I'm not in film school right now. I've answered that in a previous video, but back when I was in high school, it was really just knowing what your priorities are. Not in that exact moment, but in the long run. And when I say that is film gonna be something you're trying to do 30 to 40 years from now, which for me personally, it will be. For some people, if it's just something you're doing on the side or just something for fun, then it's really just on your free time when you don't have any homework or you don't have to study for a test, get some friends together and shoot a video really quick. It should be not your top priority. But let's say if you know you're gonna do film and grades aren't your highest priority, which you should still always get good grades, by the way. With me, I would prioritize my videos more than school. Let's say if I had 2 homework assignments due or I wanted to edit my video, I would edit my video because I didn't feel like doing homework assignments, but it's really just prioritizing what is more important. If you know you're gonna be doing film years and years down the line, is that one homework assignment that was worth 5% of your grade gonna matter 20 years from now? Not really, but is the work that you put into your video that you're gonna watch 20 years from now, is that gonna matter more? In my opinion, it will. But again, everyone is different, but it's really just prioritizing. Do you want to lose sleep to work on your video? Some people, sleep is more important, and then for other people, they'd rather work on their art than sleep. For me personally, I would much rather pull an all-nighter working on my video and then go to school as opposed to sleeping 10 hours and then going to school. Because I love film and I'm going to do whatever it takes to work on a video or a movie or whatever. So really, it's just prioritizing. If you're in sports, if you're doing this, maybe eliminate something or cut something out that's not as important. But really, it's just knowing that video and film is a very long process, like very long. Anything from shooting to prepping to scripting to editing, it takes months or years for feature films. So you just have to know it's gonna be a long process. You just have to know what is more important to you essentially. School, movies, or kind of mixing it together so you can do a little bit of both. That's my advice for that. Okay, sorry if I mispronounced your name here. So Yassine Larey asked, do you think visual effects can make a living? Honestly, yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to get all motivational on you, but anything is possible. And I'm a really firm believer in that. If someone wants to be an astronaut, I'm sure they could do it. You just have to put in the work. If you want to be a visual effects artist, you just have to put in the work. But the thing is, the visual effects industry is a main industry in its own. There's the film industry, and then there's the visual effects industry within the film industry. You just have to know exactly what you want to do. Do you want to be a compositor? Do you want to be a 3D artist? Do you want to be a lighter, a rigger? Do you want to rig skeletons and 3D models? Do you want to do muscle rigging? Do you want to do texturing? Do you want to do lighting? Do you want to do match moving? All these different things, or liquid simulations. I mean, there's so many different things within the visual effects industry that everyone really needs to be good at a certain thing. You can't just have, well, you could, but typically if you want to be hired, let's say at an ILM or Industrial Light and Magic, you'd want to be good at one specific thing so they know how valuable you are. So let's say if you have an eye for simulations, whether you're simulating billions of particles or doing dynamic simulations, they'll know this guy is valuable because you're really, really good at simulations or compositing, as opposed to someone who's kind of good at a little bit of everything. You probably want to know exactly what you want to do and stick to it, and then have a really good reel. And that can take years, especially when you're doing visual effects, because I mean, I've seen some render times where people said that they've been rendering a shot for 7 months. I mean, if that's what it takes, give it years to build a good reel. But just know that you have to stand by your reel and be confident with your reel. You have to be able to distribute it places and say, this is the work that I've done and I'm proud of it. Hire me if you're willing to. That's the kind of work I produce, or better work. So it's really just, you can make a living. You can even start off doing freelance. Again, it is a hard industry to get into, to get hired, to have a full-time job doing visual effects. But again, if you want to do it, set your mind to it, work hard, constantly learn, and you will figure out a way to do it. All right, well, that's it for the questions for this video, guys. If you have any more, feel free to hit me up in the comment section on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, anywhere. I'm always happy to answer questions for you guys. And I will see you guys in a little bit with the next Q&A video. And I'll see you guys in a little while longer with the last hotspot, which is soon almost finished. So thank you guys for sticking around. Enjoy your day.